Today's episode is going to be a shorter one, I think. I have a lot that I want to share, but to be honest, I haven't had the time the past couple weeks to sort through and fully process some of the nudges that I have been feeling in my spirit. So that will hopefully happen in the next episode. But there's some whispers that I've been hearing in my spirit for a while that have become the nudge. So I'm definitely paying attention, and all is good. All is good. So no worries. There will be some slight adjustments in the next month that I'll tell you about in the next episode and go into more details on that. But all is good. Know that. Another thing that is good is today, the day that you're actually listening to this podcast, is my husband Ron and I's 37th anniversary. So we will be out celebrating when you're hopefully listening to this episode. But what a ride. What a ride. I love thinking back on our story and meeting each other, and it still feels like a miracle. Just because, I mean, for any of us, life can just take us so many different directions. And I just remember where I was in my life and decisions I was making when God brought him into my life. And it felt like a miracle to me at the time. And what's neat is actually the thought I was kind of wanting to share kind of ties into this because I was at such a place in my life that of just really surrendering what I felt like I wanted at that time, where I wanted to go to school, where I wanted to live, just some different things that I had been wrestling with in my own heart and mind. And I felt like I got to just a new level of surrender and trust in God's plan for my life, and really felt like I wasn't even looking for a new relationship. Not that I didn't want one, and I knew that. So I wasn't opposed to it, and I wasn't not looking, but I mean, I was definitely open, but I wasn't like forefront in my mind, but I was in just a surrendered place and trust and for whatever God had for me when Ron came into my life. And I think it was in a previous episode just recently. I know I've had conversations with people about it, about this whole receiving thing that can struggle with, and obviously have my whole life probably. And so when I say surrender, it was more of that, of just surrendering, but then being in a place to receive a relationship that God had for me. And so I'm just thankful. I guess I'll just say that I'm thankful for God's hand in that and the life that we have had these 37 years that have been full. And marriage is beautiful and it's brutal. And I don't know of another relationship that can be so transformative in our life and that can pull us and pull out of us when we will surrender. There's that word surrender again. Pull out of us the plans and purposes that God has for us, because you're in such close proximity to another human in this relationship, this God ordained relationship that is not easy. But yet in the surrendering and the becoming one and just all of that, it's transformative. It can transform us into the people that God designed and purposed us to be. And it's a beautiful thing. And I love my husband so very much. I wouldn't be able to do all of the things that I'm able to put my hands to without him. He's always been my biggest cheerleader. And I'm just so thankful for him and thankful for the 5 children that we together brought into the world that continue to enrich our life and are just such a blessing. So happy anniversary to us. Happy anniversary to us. So we actually laughed together this past week when I asked him how many years it had been, just because I asked him that about my age too. We laughed because it's just crazy when you think we have been married 37 years. I mean, a number like that, it just doesn't seem like it should be our number, but because it seems like not that long ago, but at the same time seems forever ago. But anyway, what I want to kind of offer today is kind of along the lines of what I was just talking about, is receiving, goes along with this Advent season, and just this season of Christmas that many of us are, I was going to say entering in, but getting ready very soon to be in the middle of it. But a few years ago, we started observing Advent, and the Sundays leading up to Christmas, focusing on, a different word. And so we've gathered together, some families come over, and we've lit the candle the past couple of weeks. And the first candle was hope. And this past week, we lit the candle for peace. And it's always fun. The grandkids get to help light the candle and hearing what they want to add to the conversation. But the first week we were talking about Advent and just what that means, and talking about the meaning of that word, the arrival of how we are anticipating the coming of our Savior. And I thought of the song Joy to the World, that is such a beautiful Christmas carol, and was just thinking about that whole posture of preparing him room, which is one of the lines from that song. Let every heart prepare him room. I can remember singing that so many times. My mom and family growing up, and church services, and also caroling together as a family, which I've already put my family on notice that we are doing some Christmas caroling this year. But that line just really rang out to me a few weeks ago when we were talking about Advent and preparing to celebrate and welcome our Savior. And that line, let every heart prepare him room. And that's my prayer. And I think that's just what I want to remind you listening today, and invite you into, that in this season where everything can be so busy and we can be so distracted with so many to-do lists and all of the things that are so fun and beautiful, and nothing wrong with that. But I want us to prepare. I want to prepare my heart, not only in this season, for this season of welcoming him, but I want to prepare my heart as I'm going to be entering a new year, as you're going to be entering a new year, preparing my heart to be open to all that he has for me, preparing your heart for all that God has for you. And it's just such a sweet time when we can, these next few weeks, focus our hearts and our minds on what his coming brings to us. He is our hope. I'm so thankful. Our God is our hope. Jesus, our Savior, he is our hope. He is our peace. He is perfect love. He is joy. So I just want to offer up a prayer for you, for me, as we're walking out these next few weeks. God, I thank you that you are near. Even in our preparing and celebrating, I sense your presence drawing us. Thank you for being our hope and our peace in spaces that can feel so upside down at times. We look to you and we trust you to make all things right. We choose to intentionally prepare and make room for you in our hearts, not only in this season, but in our lives as we are walking out the plans and the purposes that you have for each of us. We celebrate your coming. We celebrate you being near to us each and every moment. Be with us. Be near. We love you. then we are looking to you always.